Hey guys, welcome to the Only Carlton YouTube channel. Today's Thursday, it's the day after the trade period, and can I just say what an exhausting trade period? We had, we had stars leaving, we had stars wanting to come in, we had, our vice captain that wanted out, and I thought we'd cover it. I thought we'd get straight into it. So let's not waste any time. Let's talk about Liam Reidy first. So Liam Reidy is actually pretty interesting. So we got him for pick 50 and pick 68, and we got pick 53 and pick 71 back from Freo. Now Liam Reidy is he's not going to set the world on fire, right? He hasn't played many AFL games, but he has played in a Fremantle team that has Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson in it, and I think it'd be hard for anyone to break into that team. And if you look at his waffle stats, which the waffle is a very hard league, by the way. I don't know if you guys follow the waffle, but anyone that does knows it's not a walk in the park. He did win the best and fairest for the Peel Thunder there. In my opinion, he'll probably start. He'll start round one, but it'll be interesting what the club does with him, Pitternet, and Hudson O'Keefe, how the lineup looks and all that. But look, from a Nick Austin point of view, from a pure trading and list management point of view, I think he's struck gold here. We gave up nothing. We actually got picks back somehow, which is beyond me. I don't know how he's pulled that off. But look, worst case, he's a depth ruckman and Pitternet can start. Best case, he starts round one and he tears up the park for us. Like people say, who is he? I've never heard of him, but people also didn't know who Lloyd Meek was, right? He also came from Freo, so Freo must know something about developing ruckman, right? If you look at the language as well he's used since coming to the club, he's said a lot that he's not here to, just participate. He wants to be a part of the team and he wants to, play every game. He wants to win, which a lot of our players haven't wanted to do in a while. And I think that shows a lot of his character. I think he's from Melbourne as well. So coming back home, new environment, it'll do him a lot of good. It'll do us a lot of good as well. So I'm really excited. Yeah, got him for nothing. So I'd give that a pass. Next up is Campbell Chesser. Now, Campbell Chesser was pick 14 in the national draft, right? We gave up pick 41 for him. I understand the concern with him being injury prone and the concern with us as well that we don't really know how to manage players like that. Like we've also been unlucky with injuries. How much you want to blame luck and how much you want to blame, the way we manage our players. But look, he plays on the wing, right? He's a classy user and he's a good runner. I think it's pretty much a low risk investment, right? Like he is a top 14 pick. Like he went top 15 in the draft for a reason. He also played in a West Coast team that I don't think West Coast is an environment where any young player can thrive. Like I don't, other than Harley Reid, who do they have going for him? No one. Like it's a very bad system there, and it's just not a good club to be in, right? And I think you put Campbell Chesser in our squad, and you put the big bodies around him, like Cripps, like Hewitt. I think it'll let him, just focus on running and carrying with the ball more because he's gonna play on the wing, right? He's come out and said my preferred position is on the wing. He said he wouldn't mind going to a half forward role as well, rotating, but mainly on the wing. And I think worst case it's depth, right? Worst case because on the wing we'll have Ollie Hollands, we'll have Sam Walsh, we'll have Blake Acres, Lucas Camparelli, Chesser, right? They'll be all competing for the spot, and what that'll do is make players fight for their spot. And what I want to see this season is Chesser gradually take over Acres' spot, but slowly. You don't want to rush these kids in. You don't want to expose them too much. He is a classy user of the ball. He is a good ball user. He's also a good runner. He played with Ollie Hollands in the under 12, so he has a relationship with him as well. What's going to go wrong? And worst case scenario, we signed him for a 2-year deal. So worst case, if he's a dud, we delist him. But I don't think he's going to be a dud. I actually have a really good feeling about him. His highlights are also pretty good. He's silky, good ball user. He can kick a couple goals as well. I think he's played 36 games and kicked like 8, 9 goals, which on the wing in a West Coast team that kicks, 2 goals a game, that's all right. So I'm pretty excited for him as well. It'll be really exciting to see how our team shapes up and how everything lines up, especially round one, because I think Chesser will start round one. I think he'll be on the bench. I don't think he's gonna start on the field, but I think he will be on the bench in round one. Now, next up is Ben Ainsworth, and before I talk about Ben Ainsworth, I wanna shout out Nick Austin, bro. How Nick Austin turned Corey Durden, who I love Corey Durden, right? Like I think he had something. I think he could have been a star, but injury and maybe our system didn't suit him. But how he turned Corey Durden and a future second or third pick into Ben Ainsworth, that's just elite list managing. That's just like we've just shafted them. We've actually fleeced them. And it's not the first time Nick Austin has done that in this trade period. So I rate Ben Ainsworth. He kicked 23 goals last year, kicked 25 not that long ago, I think in 2022 as well. He also, is a consistent player. I think he walks into our best 22. I don't see how he doesn't. I think he owns that half forward role, that conduit between midfield and being a forward, which we've lacked all year. It's been a serious problem, with Matthew Cottrell out and Elijah Hollands having his issues. I think it's desperately what we needed. He's probably not, he's not an A grader. He's not going to set the world on fire, but he is that B grade player that we've been crying out for ages. Like we've always said, we're top heavy. We don't have, like B tier talent. And that's exactly what this trade period was. It was just getting in players like that. Now I'm getting sidetracked here, but Ben Ainsworth, great pickup. I think he'll come in, kick 25 goals. He'll probably be our best small forward of the year. He'll own that spot, play every game. So Nick Austin, shout out Nick Austin. I don't know how he's done it, but yeah. I also want to touch on Jack Silvagni and Buku at the same time, pretty much. Now, first of all, Jack Silvagni's a fucking dog. Um, he left for the money. He went to go play with his dad. Whatever, play for his dad, even whatever. Like I don't care. Buku coming in would have been a great replacement for him because, like it or not, Jack Silvagni is a loss. Losing Jack Silvagni was like a decent sized loss in our backline because we didn't really have, like, we had McGovern as our next tall, but McGovern's not reliable. I also don't think he's going to be at the club next year. So getting a player like Buku in would have been really good, would have been really beneficial. And Buku's pretty good. Like, I rate him. Like, he would have came into our squad, but would have started every game. Right? He's a good swingman. People forget he towelled up Charlie Curnow like a couple of years ago, last year, the year before. So again, would have been great depth. Would have been a great replacement for him because we do kind of have a hole now in our back line where we don't have a second tall. We don't have a centre half back. And people bring up Haynes and um Cowan maybe, but no, like they're not going to play on either the best defender or the best forward, sorry, and the second best forward. That's not going to happen. Now, re-signing McGovern would be pretty good as well because I think it would add depth in that position. People bring up Harry Dean. Harry Dean's a kid, right? Now, from what I've heard and what I've seen, he's probably going to start and play every single game. But you don't want to expose a kid like that so quickly, right? You want to ease him into the team with some older heads in. So I know the deal didn't get done. We offered them pick 41, and they didn't take it. They wanted pick 30, like a pick 30-ish, and we would have gave them pick 30, but it got used in the Curnow deal, which I'll get to later. But yeah, I think that's a pretty big loss for us. I'm pretty sure he's out of contract next year, so hey, we'll just pick him up as a free agent. Fuck you, Bulldogs. And also fuck Jack Silvagni while we're on it. I'm not going to mention his name anymore. Fucking dog. We'll move on to Ollie Florent. Now, Ollie Florent is a player that a lot of people aren't really happy with, and I'm not too sure why. Like, yes, I understand he's not an A grade player. Yes, he probably wasn't in Sydney's best 22 all year, but he fills that void in that halfback role that we have. That we've chucked Haynes in that role and have him push up the wing. I think Florent is much more suited for that than Nick Haynes is. I'd rather have Nick Haynes sit in the back line and, be an intercept defender. He also allows Holland to get out of that fucking role and get him on the wing. Thank God, bro. I never want to see Ollie Hollands on halfback again. Play him on the wing. Ollie Florent can also probably play on the wing as well, right? He can rotate between halfback and wing, push up as well. Now, I understand the contract concerns and, people aren't happy that we're offering him 500, 600 grand. That's probably what we're paying him. But you have to understand, the more the years go on, the more players get paid. That's just how it works, right? Like, think about 5 years ago. There was barely any players on $1 million a year. That was like a rare thing. It was a rare occurrence. Now, if you're a half decent player, you get paid $1 million. Or if you're like Tom DeConing and you're like a B grade ruckman, you get paid $1.8 million a year. The landscape is changing. How players are getting paid is also changing. It's just constantly evolving, right? So paying Ollie Florent 500, 600 grand a year is completely fine with me. Like, I don't mind. Like, that's the average AFL wage, right? If you're an average AFL player, that's probably what you're getting paid. Again, we got him for nothing. Nick Austin got him for fucking nothing. A future third rounder. He was originally included in the Curnow deal, and we kind of fleeced him. We were like, hang on, we'll just give you a third rounder for him, and then you give us an extra first rounder in the Curnow deal, which I'll get to later as well, sorry. But I said this before Ben Ainsworth. He's not going to set the world on fire. He's not going to be an A-grade player. He's not going to like be our star. But what he will do, and what players like Florent do, is let our other stars, who are already bona fide stars, play to their strengths. Like I just mentioned before with Ollie Hollins, he's not a bona fide star, but you know what I mean. Nick Haynes, it allows him to stay in the back line and intercept. Like I don't get the rhetoric around him. I don't get the negativity around him. Salary, like the salary, sure, whatever, but it's just something you have to deal with. It's just how the competition works. And Ollie Florent will walk into our best 22. He will start round one and he will own that halfback position. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happens. So again, Nick Austin fucking fleeced him. Shout out Nick Austin. Just like a complete masterclass of list management from him, by the way. Just sick of the rhetoric that he's a bad list manager, but again, getting sidetracked here. But yeah, good on you, Nick Austin. Ollie Florent, a good pickup. Now moving on to the big fish, what everyone really cares about, the Charlie Curnow trade, Will Hayward in. Now, if you guys even remotely know who I am, you know my stance on this. I was adamant since the end of the season that he needs to go. As soon as I found out that he's been wanting to leave, he had to go. Like he's a vice captain. You don't let a player like that back into the club. Especially the way he handled it. I think he handled it pretty disrespectfully. People ask, how do you handle it respectfully? I think you come out and face the fans and face the media and say, my name is Charlie Curnow. I would like to go to Geelong. I would like to go to Sydney. You don't get your manager to come out and be like, oh, he's not happy and Melbourne bubble and this and that. And, I also think if you sign a 7-year contract, you honor it. But that's just me. I guess I'm a dying breed, right? So, anyways, the trade. So we gave Sydney Charlie Curnow, pick 31, pick 42, and a 2027 second round pick. We got back Will Hayward, pick 11, 2026 first rounder, and a 2027 first rounder. So we got 3 first round picks and Will Hayward for Charlie Curnow. Now, people probably not everyone's going to be happy with that. And I understand. I don't think there was ever going to be a deal surrounding Charlie Curnow that is going to satisfy every single fan, every single member. But I think that was the best for what we could have gotten. We also got an Ollie Florent. I pretty much included him a part of this trade. The future third was like masterclass mind games with them. They were like, we'll give you, if you think he's worth a future third, then we'll give you one, and then you give us more on the Charlie trade, which is what happened. They chucked in an extra future first. Now we gave back pick 31 and pick 42. I would have preferred not to do that. I would have preferred to keep pick 31 and give it to Bulldogs for Buku. If pick 31 was the price to get rid of Curnow and get in Hayward and 3 first rounders, so be it, right? Like I've been pretty adamant, he needs to go. He couldn't have stayed. This deal needed to get done, and it got done, and it was probably the best possible result for us. So, look, Will Hayward, I mean, he kicked 41 goals last year, in 2024, sorry, and he kicked, I think, 30 goals this year. He's a consistent player. Like he averages 1.5, 1.6 goals a game across his career. People bring up the forward line and, losing Charlie, and are we better without Charlie? Maybe we're not better, but I think it's a more dynamic and more versatile forward line, especially so you got Hayward and Ainsworth and Mackay as your half forwards, and then you've got we have insane depth as well in our full forward line. Like we've got we've got Motlop, Moyer, Frankie Evans, Flynn Young. These are all players that can play that position, right? Zach Williams as well is another one. Our forward line, honestly, in my opinion, it's definitely more dynamic and more versatile. There's definitely different avenues to score because of it. But what I think it does, it forces players to evolve. It forces players to play differently and not just, kick it along to Charlie or kick it along to Harry. And, it forces the game plan to evolve, right? And small ball is the game plan. I've heard people say, we're too small in the forward line. Look at Hawthorn. Look at Brisbane in the grand final, right? They kicked 20 odd goals in the grand final. How many goals did their key forwards kick? I think Logan Morris had 1 and Ty Gallup had 1 or 2, maybe, if that. This is the way forward. This is the way to evolve. This is the new game plan. And, this kind of goes into a deeper rabbit hole where does Voss have that game plan in him? I don't know, right? That's probably a topic for another video. But again, this is me purely ranking the trades and more so Nick Austin's impact on the trades. He's given us what we needed. He's given us depth, which we've been crying out for ages. None of these players are world beaters, and I understand that. Again, they're going to allow our star players to thrive, and, it's also a different environment. Who knows, like, who's to say because our forward line is more complete now with Ainsworth, with Hayward, that Jesse Motlop doesn't come out and kick 30 goals a year because he has someone to learn off and the pressure's off and it's a different dynamic. It's a completely different look. Who's to say Frankie Evans doesn't kick 30? Like, who's to say Zach Williams doesn't kick 30? These are all possible things, and you might call me, I'm dreaming, whatever. I also do love my lot, but these are all possible things. You'd be surprised how much good a change of scenery can do for a football club, especially one that hasn't changed in 2-3 years, and the culture's been bad, and Silvagni wanted to leave because he wanted a stable club, but then St Kilda pushed out their captain, and sorry, it's getting sidetracked. Fuck St Kilda, fuck Jack Silvagni too. In my opinion, and this will mean I'll probably wrap up the video here. In my opinion, we won the trade period. I don't see any other team that's done as much as us and has filled as many holes that we have. Right? Pause. But we got exactly what we needed. We identified where our list lacked, and we were like, okay, and we filled up all of the holes. We like TDK's leaving, we got a ruckman. We had poor wing stock, probably. Akers. I don't want to see him in the team if I'm being honest. The Campo twins probably aren't ready to be on the wing. I'm pretty sure Ben Campo is an inside mid, anyways. But now we've got Chesser there. We've also got half forward depth now, which we haven't had all year. Right, half forward we're playing Jesse Moll up in the midfield, like that mid forward connection. So now we've got two B plus grade players, even possible A grade players to fill that hole. It's great. Honestly, this is the way forward. I've never been more, and this can be a big statement, but I've never been more proud of the people that are in charge of this club and the direction it's taken. How we've been tight-lipped as well. Like that Durden deal came out of nowhere. We're not leaking shit. It seems like the Carlton of old where, stuff gets out and whatever. It's changing. And I think Graham Wright and Chris Davies are to thank for that. Also, Nick Austin just being a G. I don't think very rarely does he make like a wrong move when it comes to list management. Like he turned Matthew Always into pick 3 last year. Like I don't want to talk about next year too much because I want to keep it on topic, but I'm really excited for next year. I'm really excited to see how we line up and how we go because honestly, it's a completely different look. Right, we have depth on every single line now, which is something we struggled with all year. Yeah, so really excited. Anyways, I'll wrap up the video here. I don't think I talked about DeConning, but DeConning's a fucking dog, bro. Fuck that guy. Fuck St. Kilda too. Yeah. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe if you guys want. I don't know. This is so weird. I have no idea how to be a YouTuber, if I'm being honest. So I also have still no idea how to do the outro. So once again, I'm just going to salute and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.